guess what arrived this afternoon? I'm so excited. Now I bought 2 shoes today, so we're gonna find out which one of these 2 pairs that is gonna be here today. Let's go over to the runner's corner. Let me go ahead. All right, so just taking this out of the box, what we have here is the beautiful, ultra sleek Nike. All right, so here in the runner's corner, I wanted to go ahead and unveil one of the 2 pairs of shoes that I recently purchased out of my own pocket. And so I wanted to go ahead and share with you everything I have here as far as my first impressions of what they look like out of the box. So again, this is, I guess, my first grand opening of my first high-end, high-priced, high-performance Nike shoes. And so just as I'm opening up the box, automatically I'm seeing a different look. Obviously, Nike wanted to send the message that you have just purchased a shoe unlike any other. So as you probably would think, that it's different from the orange box that you see here over my right shoulder. Instead, you have here this very beautiful, very sleek white Nike printed box. Already I'm seeing something that I normally don't see. I usually just see the shoes and then you're just ready to go. But here I have a string, a specialty elite level string backpack with the swoosh printing on them. And so I could definitely use this for sure on a future trip. And honestly, just to make a statement that, hey, I have some high-end gear with me. So may not want to show this outside my bag, but something that you would normally not see in any other Nike shoes that you would buy. And now officially unveiling these shoes from the wrapping, and now we finally see the beautiful Nike Air Zoom Alphafly Next Percent. So from here, I really wanted to go ahead and describe to you everything that goes into what is in the Alphafly Next Percent, and then explain to you what's so different about these shoes compared to shoes that are currently in my rotation or shoes that have been long retired from my rotation. So automatically from the top of the shoe, I'm seeing that this is a new Atom Knit upper, which is very breathable. I can actually see through the meshing of the swoosh. So I can already see that this would be very breathable for high heat, high humidity climates. So if under any rainy conditions, it would go ahead and slip right through the material and wouldn't absorb as much as compared to other shoes. The next thing I noticed is the tongue. It's very, very similar to the original Vaporfly 4%, where it's a knit manufactured in twine with the upper. So that way there's no loose fabric when you're running. If you have had a shoe or a Nike pair that you just simply had a separate tongue, were able to pull, this might be feeling more of a preference for you. I definitely like the tongue with this kind of upper mesh here, so that way it's all as one thing, so you're not feeling multiple fabrics as you're running with every stride. I can already tell here from the back of the shoe that this is something new that what I have never seen before. In the heel collar, or essentially what we call the heel tab, there's an extra fabric here. There's an extra fabric here that you'll be able to hug and give more comfort to your heels. So in case if any of you have ever had some irritation or rubbing friction with the Achilles tendon, or essentially the back of your ankles when you're running, then this would give you added comfort and just simply a much more snug fit as you're running. So I've never had something like this, even with the Pegasus Turbo. I haven't had this heel tab before, so I'm gonna be very curious how it's gonna feel. I'm pretty sure it's gonna fit nice and snug like a glove. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be one good fitting shoe. And as we go over to the midsole, I should not expect this to be any different from any of the previous iterations of the Alphafly or the Vaporflies, where there'll be a carbon fiber plate in the middle, and then you would have the foam in the outsole to provide some responsiveness. And then obviously this is something brand new here. It would be the AirPods. This would be essentially the second unit of their Air Zooms. I can already tell just from the outsole of how it's created here that it wants you to forefoot strike. It will allow you some grace in case you do have a heel strike for downhills. Based on this little cave action going here in the bottom of the shoe, I don't think there's gonna be much comfort nor much benefit from the performance of these shoes if you're able to mid-foot strike, because essentially you're going to be hitting the ground with the tip of the forefoot fabric and then essentially not getting any support whatsoever from here. And then you're finally going to be able to launch off of the rear foot of your stride with the air foam. So you pretty much have to know yourself or be able to change your running mechanics for you to understand if this shoe is going to be best for you. I am a heel striker, currently working on my mechanics to strengthen in my calves to eventually become a forefoot or even just a more balanced midfoot striker. I'm probably going to need some test runs just to see how it would feel like to forefoot strike, what would it feel like just under my current mechanics by heel striking, and then just giving you a heads up on what would a mid-strike feel look like, but that will be on a future video. So this is great. I can already tell that this is amazing. I mean, there's not much wiggle room. If I do the twist test with this, this is a very firm shoe. So just by looking at them, they have some much higher stack height. I can only imagine that wearing these shoes, I will be appearing larger and taller than what I actually am. This shoe offers a 39 millimeter stack height on the heel, 35 millimeter stack height on the forefoot, offering a 4 millimeter drop. Compared to other shoes under the Nike brand, this is much more flat or closer to zero drop compared to other shoes such as the Pegasus or the Vaporfly, or even, let's just say, the Turbos. But they tend to offer more of a 10 millimeter drop between the heel and the forefoot. So even though this is more of a flat-ended shoe from front to back, this offers a much higher stack height, which I'm assuming would likely to tell you to run tall, run far, lean forward, and run fast. So I can only imagine that this is a shoe that is just telling you sweet nothings as you're hitting your mile, your 5K, your half marathon, and of course these are shoes perfectly intended for the full marathon. So that probably could explain the price tag along with it, that you're asking for and you're receiving a much higher ended performance shoe with modern technology. And so speaking of price, these shoes sent me back a retail price of $275 plus tax. So definitely not the cheapest shoe, and so far it is the most expensive shoe that I have purchased out of my pocket. But based on what I see here, it is worth the investment. I wouldn't say I want to take these on easy runs per se, but if there's particular tempo, speed intervals, or a time trial of your particular choosing of distance, then I think these shoes are going to be really right up your alley. And so as I mentioned from the beginning of the video, I have purchased 2 pairs of high-end shoes. The highest end shoe of the pair that I purchased arrived, which we're able to see in the review today. The other is something that just recently came out on a limited fire sale, and here's just a little hint for what the other pairs of shoes would be. And so if you'd like to leave a comment below on what the guess of that other pair of shoe, here's a little hint. It's giving a homage to marathon great and potentially marathon legend, the GOAT, Eliud Kipchoge. So I'm curious to see if you know what kind of pair did I purchase. So that will come in a future video review as well. So hope you guys like everything what you've seen here. I wanted to show you everything that I wanted to explain. You have no idea how bad I really wanted to put these shoes on, but knowing how I have been running the last 2 weeks, it's not looking very pretty right now, so I just need to give my calves a little bit of strength, a little bit of rest, and of course a lot of recovery. And so as soon as that becomes at least 80, 90, or hopefully 100% sooner rather than later, I can be able to put these shoes on, and then I'll go ahead and put out a video that will show the Nike Air Zoom Alphafly Next Percent road test. So far, can't wait to do that. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Enjoy.